We love music. You are locked into Six Towns Radio.
It is Boston's about time for a very special guest. On the line, I've got star of the big screen, the small screen, and he's also singing in rock and roll band Riding the Low. Hello and welcome, Paddy Considine. How are you doing, mate? You okay?
Hello, Terry. I'm all right, thank you.
We've got you on the phone today. First of all, we want to talk about Riding the Low. We've been playing the single Rocky 99, and it's been getting some great reactions. You must be really proud of it.
Yeah, I am, yeah. It's really good. It seems to have gone down really well. And I always thought that it was a real kind of radio song anyway, and that it had that kind of feel to it that people would enjoy it. But no, it's been great, really. Can't really watch films do anymore, but I got quite a buzz out of hearing it on the radio.
It is a radio track from the feedback I get. It'll probably sound brilliant live as well, but it's a song that would sound great on any radio station. It's
the kind of music we make. It's rock and roll music, and when we play live, we do a really good, solid rock and roll live show. And with that kind of band, the songs are quite anthemic, and it's what we enjoy. It's what I enjoy when I go to see bands anyway. So a lot of that is filtered into Riding the Low, and we've got an album coming out in a few weeks' time, and that's got quite a few kind of similar sort of anthems on it. So I like that kind of thing. I don't like to go to gigs and sit down, and I don't put music on in the background either. I'm not really one of these background music people. If I put music on, then I'm listening to it, and when I go and see a live show, I want to see a bit of action, and so it's all coming together quite well at the minute. I'm really pleased with how people have reacted to it, because I know it's not an easy ask to get people to take you seriously, in a band, particularly if you've established as something else. I think people always view it as a sort of vanity project, Terry, and well, it kind of is. Everything's a vanity project, really.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, let's be honest, but it's a good band, and I can't expect people to just assume that it's a good band and accept everything. It's going to take time, and it's going to take a few records for people to realise that there's some good stuff, and we're, say serious about it. But it's not just some kind of side project. It's something I do, but I'm not asking people to, drop everything else. It's like, in time, we're slowly winning people over, and we're getting a good fan base now, and people are realising. So it's all great. I'm really proud of Riding the Low.
Yeah, I think I'm one of the people who are in the minority, because I saw Riding the Low before I saw a Paddy Considine film.
Wow.
A few years ago. I'd heard of you, because you're Staffordshire-born lads. I was at the Brown Jug in Newcastle, going back a few years, and one of my mates took me to the gig, and I was blown away. Great rock and roll set. It was that good, in fact, that that was on the Wednesday. The Friday, I travelled up to Derby to watch her again at the Old Bell.
Oh, God, the Old Bell was a messy gig, as I remember. It was a terrible... I mean, you're talking a few years ago, but we did play it. We played 3 times in Stoke, and the Brown Jug's a great little venue. I can't remember the name of the other place we played, but we always had a good crowd there. But, I mean, we've been going for 5 years, Terry. Probably more, actually, 6 years, and... sorry, my dog's barking. Probably for 6 years, and... people have criticised us, been a bit sniffy and called us a pub band. We've started off like any other band. Just because I've been in movies, it doesn't mean we've got a kind of ticket to the headline show. We've played pubs over the years. We've kind of got our sound together and got tighter over the last few years, and I think we're a kind of a different band now to the one that you saw. It's still the same spirit, but I think we've got a lot better. And we've evolved over those years, so we've had a proper little journey where it's not like we've just arrived and asked everybody to take us seriously,
The Old Bell gig, as I remember, you got about 50 encores because people kept going, do one more, and you kept going back on.
Yeah, I think the longest we played for is 2 hours, and we didn't even have a record of any kind out. I mean, the last record we put out was a few years ago now, the Gift EP. They were obviously your gifts. It was a few years ago, and in the meantime, we've just been getting the sound together and getting the new album ready and trying to really find our way how to do everything. But we've got a lot of songs, and people who've been there from the beginning know the really early stuff and still ask for it. But we played a show on Saturday night in Stockport at the Blue Cat Cafe, and we were ready to play for as long as they wanted us to play. We had an encore and stuff. We played for about an hour, and you know, there was a few sheepish little kind of maws, but it wasn't like there was a big rapturous thing, so we let it go. But if people want us to keep playing, we'll keep playing till we run out of songs. We have done that in the past.
Start doing cover versions and all sorts.
Yeah, well, we've got enough of our own material to just keep going, so we just keep banging them out until everyone gets bored.
And going back to the old Brown Jug gig as well, the band that supported you were called New Education. And they are called All Young now. They signed to Warner Brothers Records, and they're probably the only band from Stoke who've actually made something of themselves for many a year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to them. That's great.
So you're from Burton. You're not a Burton Albion fan. You're a Manchester United fan, aren't you?
Well, I'm not. I went off football a few years ago, Terry. I got kind of bored of it all, if I'm honest with you. I kind of just I got into football around 1989, 1990 probably. So I wasn't a football fan all when I was a kid. But I just fell out of interest with it. I got bored, you know, and so I haven't really been watching it for the past 3 years or so. But you know, Burton Albion, it's only down the road, and we've been promised a day out there, and my father-in-law and family members want to go down and check it out. So I'd happily go down and watch him play, but I'm not really a football fan. I'm more of a boxing fan. I've been a boxing fan since I was a little boy. So that's my thing, really.
Yeah, well, Burton Albion are doing okay at the moment. They could get promoted. Is that why it's called Rocky 99, because of your boxing affinity?
No, it's not. I mean, the Rocky thing, I do love the Rocky movies. They're a big inspiration on me. But the idea of the song is, like, I don't really like to say what the songs are about because people can make their own mind up. But the idea of it is it's about a relationship between a mother and son, and basically, well, it's like about a family relationship, and it's the kind of sort of journey that this son and mother have gone on together, and the fact that you know, in every Rocky movie there's a moral to it, and it's like that in their lifetime they've lived like 99 Rocky movies, you know, and so that was the idea behind the song that came out of it, you know, like morally they'd lived all these different kind of lifetimes together and faced all these trials and stuff. So that was the kind of thinking behind it.
Yeah, I've heard you do a Sly Stallone impression before. Was it an award ceremony?
Yeah. Somebody shouted it out. Yeah, I got an award or something. Someone shouted out, "We love you." You know, it was an on-the-spot thing. I don't go around doing Rocky impressions all the time, but yeah, it was a good moment.
Well, you're great at regional dialects and international twang. You can, you know,
yeah,
you can adapt and do these things. We always struggle to get people to be able to do a Stoke accent. Is that something you could possibly do?
I'd have to work on it a bit, Stoke. It's a funny one, isn't it? There's a bit of Manchester in there. There's a bit of Liverpool in there. I can hear all kinds of things in there, so I'd struggle a little bit.
It's great when we go, well, I say we don't all go together, but when people from Stoke go abroad, people can never pick out the accents.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that to be the case. It's a tough one. But I love Stoke. We go there quite a bit, you know, and to Trentham and all that with the kids, and we go around up to the potteries to get some bits and pieces, and then we play some shows there. It's a great little city, you know, town.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's why we called Six Towns Radio, because we embrace everything Stoke-on-Trent. Let's talk a little bit about your acting work. You and Shane Meadows changed the face of British cinema. It's safe to say that, for the good in the 2000s. And Dead Man's Shoes especially has got a massive following. It's an amazing film. You co-wrote it with Shane. How long did it take to write, first of all?
Thank you for that. I'm not sure about that, but it's a nice thought. But Dead Man's Shoes, it took longer than most things do. It was relatively short. I think over a period of, 5 or 6 weeks we wrote it. And it changed a lot. It came around very quickly. We came up with the idea, and we came up with the idea. We were going somewhere to eat, and we had a car crash, me and my wife, and Shane was behind us in the car, and we went up this bank. And it was a very weird day because, you know, we had cuts on our hands, but we still went for dinner. And then when we came home, we kind of came home with Dead Man's Shoes. It was a bit of a bizarre day, you know, for us. But it came about quite pretty quickly as far as productions go. We wrote it. There's a myth around it that it didn't have a script. It did have a script, but Shane let the guys improvise a lot more. So there's fragments of the script in their dialogue, but all I remember is the one thing we didn't have was the ending, the final scene. We didn't have that for definite because we had to go back and reshoot it. But it was only a matter of a few weeks to write it.
It only took 3 weeks to film. Is that because you co-wrote it and it was easier with you acting in it as well?
I think it was. I think it was more to do with the fact that the money we had to make it. We didn't have a lot of money at all to make the movie, and it had to be quick, and it had to be turned around in that amount of time. And we were kind of looking at things like Halloween and using that as a reference and saying, you know, they shot that in 3 or 4 weeks, and it's a masterpiece. And it was trying to do something, you know, aesthetically that was quick, but you know that could make a bit of an impact. And you know, you grow up a bit. We were all in different places then. I'd done a couple of bigger movies, and it hadn't been creatively satisfying for me at all. And I think Shane had just done a movie that he wasn't kind of fully. It hadn't fulfilled him. He wasn't particularly pleased with it in the end result. He'd gone on his own journey. So Dead Man's Shoes was a little bit of a return to the days where things were a little bit freer for all of us. You know.
Yeah, well, what I mean by changed British cinema, I think through the 90s and then technology had changed. I just think that British cinema came on leaps and bounds because of that. More people were making films, and I think the ethic that you and Shane brought to the scene was just refreshing.
Yeah, I think that there was definite. Well, Shane didn't go to film school, and I didn't go to an acting school. He was making these shorts as a means of survival in Nottingham, where he was, you know, and he was roping in friends because he didn't have any actors to work with, and you know, it just worked. But it was his dedication to just keep turning out short films and making, you know, eventually what was Small Time, and then 24/7. I think the style of filmmaker that Shane was as well. I think people felt that they could achieve it, because it didn't have that kind of separation that a bigger budgeted movie would have about it. You know, already you're talking about a lot more money and a lot more involvement of producers and a lot more restrictions. But I think that, you know, the kind of films that Shane was making allowed people kind of from a different class as well, if I'm honest, to realise that they could potentially do that. And like myself, you know, they could come from a council estate and they could potentially be acting in films, and it's not that hard, you know, really. Hopefully for me, that thought's a good one, that it broke down that kind of barrier that only a certain kind of people were privileged to go into that profession. I think it changed a lot of those films.
Yeah, without a doubt. You said that you didn't know the ending for Dead Man's Shoes, but when you made the film The Bourne Ultimatum, you weren't told the ending, and you didn't know until you actually saw it. Is that a true story?
Well, what happened there was I read The Bourne Ultimatum, and it's a long story, so I'll tell you the short one. But I read The Bourne Ultimatum, and then in the first sort of 20, 30 pages, I was shot, and so I didn't carry on reading it, because I really enjoyed the first 2 Bournes. I thought they were really good films, and I kind of stopped reading and thought, well, okay, I'm not gonna know what happens. I'm gonna wait until I watch the movie to see what happens after I get shot, because you know, when you're shot, you're out of it. There's no more kind of, you know, interest. And I thought, no, I'll just wait and see what happens. Watch the film like everybody else. So that's what I did with The Bourne. I
just remember being in the cinema and everyone shouted at the screen, don't go, listen to Jason, don't go out there.
I know, yeah. It was fun shooting that.
Yeah, in London, in the station, were they all extras? Or
there was some extras dressed into the crowd, but a lot of it was just commuters, because when I got shot, I got shot in like 6 of, I don't know, loads of different, at least half a dozen different locations around that station I got shot in, you know, before they could make their choice and decide which was the best one. So we kept going back and shooting there. And, you know, I went down and this woman screamed when I hit the deck, and basically came over to me and put me in the recovery position and started, you know, CPR and all this kind of thing. And I just, instead of going, oh, I'm sorry, I was just so in it and so shocked by her reaction. that I just lay there until one of the ADs of the film crew came along and explained to her. I was too embarrassed. I just kind of rolled over and crawled off and got out of there. But it was nice. It was quite life-affirming to think that if you fell down from a heart attack or anything like that, someone would jump in there and help you out.
Yeah, good Samaritan.
Yeah, definitely.
Another film, briefly want to talk about, obviously, you're in Hot Fuzz, and there's a massive film due out this year, which is the final film in the Cornetto trio with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, called World's End, and you're one of the 6 friends in that, aren't you?
I am, yeah, there's a few of us. There's myself, there's Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, Eddie Marzan and Martin Freeman, and we're a gang of guys who, touching our 40s now, who go on an epic pub crawl that we never completed, 20 years previously. And if I say any more than that, somebody, a real Bond situation will happen. Somebody will snipe me from somewhere, shoot me through the head if I reveal any more.
Oh, of course, yeah, but I know, just with the cast, it's not going to disappoint.
No, God, I mean, they're great. I adore them. I love them all. They're really good friends of mine. And Edgar's a brilliant filmmaker. And I think filming it, it was different because Hot Fuzz, we were a real tight bunch of friends we became on that. And I got so many friendships and things that came off that film. But with this one, I was around a lot more, and I think it's going to be really, really good. I really think the guys are brilliant in it, and I think this is one of Simon's best roles. He really gets to let it all go. Because he was kind of I'm not calling him a straight guy, but he was a little bit uptight in Hot Fuzz because that was the character, and but I think this one he's really let off the leash, and it's going to be a really, really great performance, I think.
Oh, amazing. Well, I said about you changing film. I think Simon Pegg with Spaced and some of the other stuff that he did in the 2000s was great, because I was doing media at university and everyone was harping on how great American comedy was, American film. But I was watching, Peep Show, The Mighty Boosh, Spaced. That was a new wave for me, and I think he is a brilliant writer. Music and film cross over quite a lot, and you've been in a couple of music videos. You were in Coldplay's video and an Arctic Monkeys video. How different was it to be in a short like that?
Well, that's what I viewed them as. I kind of realised I stopped doing them. Every time I did a video for somebody, it was really weird. I think I've done 3 over the years, and I think that's too many. Although someone's just asked me to do one the other day that sounds like a good laugh, but I was a bit like, I can't do any more videos for anyone. It's silly, I'll be the video kid. But every time they came, there was at a point like I didn't have any work. I'd done a film years ago. I think it was after In America, this film called In America, and I didn't have any work. And yeah, so this video came up, and it was a few bobs. And really, I don't think I'd have done any music videos if it wasn't for the fact that I needed a few quid, if I'm honest. But I enjoyed doing them, but it wasn't weird being in there. I mean, the Arctic Monkeys one I did for a pal as a favour, really, but it worked quite nicely, and I wrote that one as well. They sent me a treatment, and I said, I'll do the video if you do my idea. And they all agreed it was a nice little idea. I think the trick of a video is to almost be like a short film, and have a little narrative, and that one worked really nicely. But yeah, they were good fun to do. But it's just like making a short film, if I'm honest. There's no huge difference. I've made short films in the past, and they're usually quite nice things to do. Everyone's there, not getting paid very much money, and they're there because they want to be, and they're having a good time shooting it, and they're always a bit of a laugh.
Are you friends with Alex at all?
No, I'd know Alex to say hello to, but I'm not. I wouldn't say we're friends. If I saw them out and about, I'd say I help, But friends is a different thing.
There was another connection, wasn't there? Because he did the soundtrack to Submarine, which you were in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'd say Richard Iwaddy and Alex are probably friends. I don't know.
When you're not singing, writing, directing, taking pictures yourself in the bath, yeah. What do you get up to, Paddy?
Oh, I don't know. Not a lot, really. I watch a lot of boxing, and I'm just a family time. People have this image of that. It's very funny we're around here because when people see me, they always go, "How long are you around here for then?" And they think I have 2 homes, one here and one in Beverly Hills, and I'm like, no, I live in Burton. I'm from here, and I live here, and you know, I don't have a place in Beverly Hills. It's a kind of a myth. But I'm with my family, and that's it. Doing family stuff, family things, and I write. You know, my time is consumed with my work. So, but when I'm at home, I do it in my leisure, and I write. I've just finished my next film. I'm directing, and I've got another script I start next week. So I keep things alive by doing all that. We're just planning to go and record the second Ride in the Low album. So it's all coming together. I occupy myself with all that kind of stuff. It's early days for Ride in the Low, even though it's been a few years. But you know, we've got our next record ready to go. And the last one was recorded in Burton, but it was actually mastered, mixed, and produced in Portland, Oregon, by a guy called Chris Sorenko, who was in Boston Spaceships and Guided by Voices, and Jonathan Drews, guys from the Dharma Bums. They worked on the record, and it's got guests on it from members of the Decemberists play on the album and what have you. So we were really lucky with that. So I think we're going to do the same thing with the next record. We're going to record it probably at a different location, but we're going to send it off to Oregon again, and I'll go over there and record the vocals. So it's a bit of a transatlantic record in some ways.
Yeah, the reason I asked what do you do when you're not doing all those things, because you're obviously an ideas person. Do you find it really hard to switch off? I do a bit, but I like creating. I like creation. I make a lot of notes. I write things down. That's who I am, really. You know, so I don't stop. But I like that. You know, it's not a real big pressure or anything. It doesn't blow my mind. I quite enjoy all of it, and I think that's all it's about, Terry. You know, enjoying it, trying your best to enjoy it. At the end of the day, I've got this band. If you're interested, great. If you're not, that's fine too. But you know, you can be mean about it and call it what you want. But at the end of the day, you know, we're having a good time doing it, and I'm not going to stop doing it right now. We enjoy it, and there's some good track, and it's all same stuff anyway. You know, my writing, it took, like Chris, the guitarist, years to realise, you know, we were in the practice room one day, and he said to me, I get it. He said, this stuff, these Ride in the Low songs, because it's Tyrannosaur, it's all the same thing, isn't it? It's all the same. I said, yeah, of course it is. You know, I'm not writing songs ago, and I woke up today and had a cup of tea and got on my scooter and, you know, nipped to the shops and all. Yeah, of course it's all the same. It's coming from my head, so, you know, it's another line of expression, really, and I enjoy it. I'm glad you do. It's been fascinating talking to you, Paddy. Thank you very much for coming on the phone today.
Thanks a lot, Terry, and good luck with your award thing.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I'm up against, obviously, everybody, but I'm going to have a go at it. Any plugs you can give me, that'd be amazing. But yeah, an independent radio DJ from Stoke up against Nick Grimshaw and people like that.
Oh, mate, I'd say I've had it as an actor. You know, you turn up and you're up against Ewan McGregor and you go, there's no chance here, man. This ain't happening, but we'll plug it, we'll retweet it.
Oh, thank you for that, and I will definitely catch it one of the gigs. I'll come say hello.
Yeah, do that. No, that'd be great, Terry. Thanks a lot. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Turn up.
Broadcasting to Stoke-on-Trent and the world. This is Six Towns Radio.